Good morning to all. I am Dr. Venkateshan, Assistant Professor, AAA Department, Alagappa Chettiar Government College of Engineering and Technology. I am going to give presentation about renewable energy source subject. This as you are entered in final year, so as a faculty, I need to give idea about career opportunity for electrical engineers. So 5 minutes we have to discuss about what are the opportunities is there for electrical engineers. For a triply graduated can work in various fields, as a power plant engineers, instrumentation engineers, in communication engineers, let's in Reliance, BSNL, etc., and also computer hardware engineers. These are the main focus or opportunities there for electrical engineers. Apart from that, we can also pursue higher education in IITs, NITs, and deemed universities, and also all state universities offering specialized course. Also, we can write TOEFL and GRE for pursuing studies in abroad. Apart from that, so now I list out some of the companies. So government and privates. So simply we have to divide government and private career opportunities. In government, again we have to divide state government and central government. In state government, so we have to divide core and other core means we have opportunities at TNEB, that is TANGETCO, as a AE, assistant engineers, and some other small scale industries. So they are recruited, small scale industries such as electrical engineers, they are recruited through TNPSC, Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission. So these are the opportunities is there for in state government. In central government, we have a lot of opportunities. So everyone we know that, very basically everyone say that opportunities in UPSC like IAS, Indian Engineering Service, Indian Railway, Power Grid Corporation, NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation. So these are commonly everyone know that, ONGC, NALCO, of course Staff Selection Commission, DRDO, ISRO, BARC, HPCL, SAIL, GAIL, HAL, BEL, BHEL. So these are the other opportunities in the reputed companies, that is central government based companies. And also some of the other private reputed companies, ABB, General Electricals, Siemens, Vijay Electricals, HBL Power Systems, and some of the power plant companies, of course Vestas, that is wind, solar power plant companies, they are also giving a lot of opportunities for electrical engineers. So apart from that, some other central government based companies like opportunities for through UPS, IAS, IPS, IFS, and also some of the bank examinations. So these also we are eligible as a graduate. Of course, apart from that, we can go for higher studies through GATE. So as everyone know that GATE is not only for go for higher studies. So some of the reputed companies, they are having a basic eligibilities GATE examination. So GATE is very important. That why we insisted you to write, everyone you to write GATE examination for getting a good career opportunities. In particularly GATE exam based job opportunities are in NTPC, SAIL, HPCL, BEL, Power Grid, ONGC, GAIL, NALCO. So these are very reputed companies. They are taking, they are giving opportunities through GATE exam based only. So also GATE exam we can go for doing the higher studies in specialized course. Of course, some more examinations like GRE, TOEFL for studies in abroad, and CAT, MAT for MBA, CSIR for JRF. So these are other opportunities. Apart from that, we can go for a central government job also, as in teaching post. So these are the career opportunities we have. So you try for GATE examination and you have to get good career opportunities. So let's we go for that our subject. Yes, I'm going to be handle renewable energy subject. So renewable, like all other subject, renewable subject is very important for your career because there are a lot of opportunities in renewable energy power plant area, because renewable energy is the emerging field now. So we have a lot of opportunities in this field. So for that you must have a good idea about renewable energy sources, types of renewable energy sources, or maybe renewable energy plant and its principle working. This is very important for your career opportunities also. So what we are going to be discussed in this subjects. So let's see how to see the content of the subject. In this subject we are going to be discussed in unit 1. We are going to be discussed energy scenario. So in this content we are gathering knowledge about what do you mean by energy, what are the different energy sources is there, how they are classified. There is classification of the energy sources. So why it is called so. Afterwards we are going to be get idea about what is the world energy status and also energy scenario in India. So that means how the energy is made out in world in India. So after we are going to be discussed energy cycles of the energy sources. So that's why we are shifting from non-renewable to the renewable energy sources. So and also finally we come forward why we are shifting that renewable energy sources and that importance. So these are the things we are discussed in the unit 1. At the end of the unit 1 you gathered idea the importance or maybe need for shifting from non-renewable energy source to the renewable energy sources, and what are these renewable energy plant is there. So afterwards one by one each renewable energy plant we are going to be discuss elaborately in the unit 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, I will give you a brief intro. In unit 2 we are going to be discussed how the power is generated through solar renewable energy. So or maybe solar energy, from solar energy what are the output we are getting and how we are getting, what is the principle involved. So that we are discussed in the unit 2. In unit 3 wind energy, from wind how we are generating electrical power, and unit 4 we are going to be discussed energy from the ocean. From ocean we able to ocean also comes under the category of renewable energy, the energy never to be run out, and how from the ocean we are of course ocean thermal energy conversions, energy from tides, and also energy from waves. So these are the things you studied in the ocean energy, energy from the ocean, unit 4. Unit 5 you are discussing the energy from the biomass and fuel cell. This also comes under the category of renewable. So how biomass to the electrical energy is developed, what is mean by fuel cells. These are the things we are going to be studying in the unit 5. Let's we go for that unit 1, as you have very clear about what is the content of unit 1. Yes, that is what do you mean by energy, what are the different types of energy available, so how it is classified, and what is the status of energy status in world and energy scenario in India. What do you mean by energy cycle, types of different energy cycles, and environmental aspect of energy utilization, global warming, renewable energy source and importance. So this is the unit content 1. So let's we go for that. Inside the content is first, what do you mean by energy? So energy is very simply know that the ability of the system to do work, or ability of the system to cause external action or to do work. So as everyone we know that different types of energies are solar energy, wind energy, ocean energy, wave energy, mechanical energy, thermal energy, electrical energy, chemical energy, nuclear energy, etc. So these are the different types of energies. How these type of energies are basically classified and what are they? The energy resources are classified first basically based on the usability of energy. Based on the usability of energy, it mainly classified into the primary resource and secondary resources. Primary resource and secondary resources. What do you mean by primary energy source? So primary energy source is nothing but it is found in nature or stored in nature. That is called as a primary energy sources, that you know very well: coal, oil, natural gas, biomass. So of course defaultly we know that it is found in nature or stored in the nature. So these type of energy we call as a primary energy source. So what do you mean by secondary energy sources? So the form of energy which is finally supported to your customer for utilization is known as secondary energy. So that is, it is not directly available or available in the nature. Maybe it converted to one form to the other form. So that type of energy is we call as a secondary energy sources. So the example for that is electrical energy and thermal energy. So next, it is classified into its traditional use, that is commercial energy and non-commercial energy. So from the name itself we have an idea. So the energy sources that are available in the market for a definite price are called as a commercial energy. Of course, available in the market, as you know, everyone we know that, like petroleum products, electrical energy. So these are commercial available in the market. Coal. So these are comes under the category of commercial energy. So let's see, what do you mean by non-commercial energy? So the energy sources that are not available in the commercial market for a price. These comes under the category of non-commercial energy. Of course, we know the example for non-commercial energies are firewoods, agro waste, solar energy, water energy, wind energy. So these are not available in the commercial market for a price. It's available in the nature, we can take. So next we have to classify the energy sources based on term availability, long-term availability. Based on long-term availability, it is classified into the renewable energy and non-renewable energy. Renewable energy, the energy exists freely in nature in all time. That's very important, in all time. of course, it's in all time. That means it never to be run out, and it does not create a pollution to the environment. So these type of energies we call as a renewable energy. As we are very clear that wind, solar energy, water energy, of course, it is freely available in the nature in all time. We know that without that we cannot to live. So so it is, and it's never to be run out, and it is available in all times, and it does not create any pollution to the environment. These are comes under the category of renewable energy. What do you mean by non-renewable energy? Not available for long time. One day it to be run out. This type of energy is we called or comes under the category of non-renewable energy. Of course, so these energies may create a pollution to the environmental also. For example, non-renewable energies like coal, uranium, petroleum. Of course, these all products or maybe energies are uh, not freely available, and also the raw materials also one day to be run out, and also it create pollution to the environmental also. So that's why these are comes under the category of non-renewable energy. Sometimes the renewable energy is called as a green energy because it does not produce a pollution to the environment. So and also it's freely available in the natures, and never to be run out. So this is also another added advantages. So that's why sometimes it is called as a green energy. So see the figure. So in this figure, wind, sun, water, biomass, these are comes under the category of renewable energy. Other things, coal, uranium, natural gas, propane, petroleum, these are comes under the category of non-renewable energies. So next we have to classify conventional and non-conventional energy sources. What do you mean by conventional energy sources? The sources of energy which has been in use for a long time, which have been in use for a long periods. For examples, coal, petroleum, natural gas, and water, that is hydro. So these are the sources we are used for a long time. So this comes under the category of conventional source of energy. Of course, they are exhaustible except water. Of course, they cause a pollution when used. So these are comes under the category of conventional energy sources. What do you mean by non-conventional energy sources? The sources which are yet in process of development over the past few years. For example, it includes solar, wind, tidal, biogas, biomass, geothermal. These are comes under the category of non-conventional energy sources. So these sources are inexhaustible and generally pollution free, less expensive. So because it is freely available in the market, available in the nature, so that's why these are called as a non-conventional energy sources. Even you have already idea about conventional energy sources, that is conventional energy power plant. So we know very well what do you mean by conventional energy. What do you mean by conventional energy? The source of energy which have been used for a long time. That's we call as a conventional source of energy. So the example you know well. So long time, used in a long time. Of course, water, coal, petroleum, uranium. So these type of power plant or power sources we used for a long period to meet out the energy demand, or maybe from these sources only we are generating a power. So this comes under the category of conventional energy power plant. Already you have taken idea about this power plant like hydro power plant or maybe hydro power station, thermal power station, nuclear power station in utilization, energy generation and utilization subject. So now we have to take a small intro or principle about this power plant. First, hydropower plant or maybe hydroelectric power station, power generation station. So what's the principle involved here? We have a water, that's all. The moving water has kinetic energy. This can be transferred into useful energy in different ways. And in a hydropower scheme, store water high up in dams. The water has gravitational potential energy which is released when it falls. As the water rushes down through these pipes, this stored energy is transferred to the kinetic energy, which turns electric generator via a water turbine. So this is the simple principle of hydro power plants. So you have to look out this diagram, how the kinetic energy into mechanical energy is developed through a prime mover, and mechanical energy into, that is how electrical energy is generated through a alternator. Of course, in this diagram we have a water storage called a reservoir and sluice gate. Of course, benstock or maybe a pipeline, there is high pressure water is flows in this dam, and also we have a turbine, alternator or maybe a AC generator. We have a transformer, and finally we have a grid lines, as these diagrams clearly shows. So you know what is the importance of this all component, what it do, so that we already studied. So even though you just know it, what is the important components of the hydropower station. Of course, you are very clear that it's a very low cost, only running cost, that is, or maybe initial cost may be very high, running cost is very low. So production of cost is, or maybe production cost is eliminated, and also it is renewable. Maybe the reservoir we can use for drinking water, aquacultures, flood control, etc. So these are the major advantage of hydropower station. Of course, it does not produce any pollution, does not produce or involve in any global warming problems. So these are the main advantage of hydropower station. Of course, we have here some of the disadvantages. Very expensive to build. Yes, of course, initial cost is very high, or building cost is very high. One more main disadvantage is risk in rupture of the, or maybe bursting of the dam. Maybe it's a great issue. Maybe construction of hydropower can lead to imbalance of ecosystem. So these are also some of the another disadvantages of hydropower system. So global distribution of hydropower generation capacity, yes, of course, China having a largest producer of hydroelectricity, followed by Canada, Brazil and US. Of course, India in 5th or 6th place. So world largest hydropower plant is there in Three Gorges, China. Idepo hydropower plant between the Brazil and Baraju. And third largest is Guri Peninsula. So these are the very largest hydropower plant in the world. In India, we have a Koyna hydropower station around 2000 megawatt in Maharashtra, near to the Koyna river. 2000 megawatts hydropower plant is there. Look at that hydropower station benstock and the construction diagrams. So of course in Tamil Nadu, what are the hydropower plant is there? Mettur Dam, Vaigai Dam, Amravati, Bhavani Sagar, Kunda is of course Kunda, Papanasam. These are some of the very important hydropower station available in Tamil Nadu. So let's see how to take brief idea about the thermal power station. A thermal power station is a power plant in which the prime mover is steam driven. That's very important, steam driven. So here water is heated and turns into the steam and spins a steam turbine which drives an electric generator. After a steam passes through to the turbine. The steam is condensed with the help of condenser. So that process we call as a Rankine cycle. So this is used for recycling process. So you look at this simple block diagram of the thermal power station. Of course, in thermal power station we have a boiler, steam turbine. So yeah, the raw material may be a coal or maybe oil. Via that you have to heat that water in the boiler. So it develops a steam. That steam is passed to the steam turbine. So that steam turbine will give a mechanical energy to the alternator or maybe AC generator. It develops electricity. Of course, the steam passed away from the turbine goes to the condenser. So condenser also very important parts in the steam turbine. So for Rankine cycle process or maybe having a more advantages. So condenser to the again the water is fed to the boiler. So again the process is repeat. This is a simple layout of thermal power plant. You look at this. So how the coal is utilized for generation of steam. So we have here in boiler we have here water. So you are generating a steam in the boiler. It passes to the turbine, then generator. So next you have here some other parts, chimney, cooling station. So everything is here. Look at the block diagram of general layout of the thermal power plant. Of course, some of the advantages of the compared to all, the overall system cost is very effective. Maybe the help of condenser we are going to be some heat could be reused. Easier maintenance of power station. Heat production system is simple compared to the other system, compared to the other thermal systems. That's very important. So these are the advantages of thermal power stations. Also the main disadvantages, yes, everyone we know that the main disadvantage of thermal power station is emission of carbon dioxide. So in general overall low overall efficiency, it's having a low overall efficiency. So these are the main disadvantages of thermal power plant. In India we have a Vityachal thermal power station, Madhya Pradesh, that is the largest one, around 5000 megawatts, installation capacity is around 5000. Mundra thermal power station, that is also around 5000. Mundra thermal power station located in Gujarat. In Tamil Nadu we have a Thoothukudi thermal power plant, Mettur thermal power plant. These are the very important. It's around the 1000 megawatts power plant. So now we have to take an intro about nuclear power station. A nuclear power plant is like a thermal power station. So here also we generated a steam, but for generation of steam here we used a nuclear material. Via a nuclear reactor we generated a steam. That steam is passed to the steam turbine and connected to the electrical generator which produces the electricity. So only difference between the thermal power plant and nuclear power plant is in both power plant we utilized a steam turbine where the steam developed via a water boiler and boil. We are used a boiler means that we call as a thermal power plant. Maybe via a nuclear reactor, then we call as a nuclear power station, because there we used a nuclear material for generation of the heat. Then that heat is utilized for boiling water and we are generating a steam. That steam is drive the steam turbine and electrical generation. So the main components of the steam nuclear power plant is, as everyone we know that the very important component is the nuclear reactor. So here only the heat is generated and heat exchanger for converting water into the steam. Then we have a steam turbine, alternators. This is very important. Of course we know very well we used nuclear material, uranium we used as a nuclear material or maybe some of the radioactive heavy metal ore. So these are some of the common fuel for nuclear reactors. Of course, commercially, nuclear reactors requires thousands of pounds of enriched uranium fuel in order to operate. We have to operate in nuclear reactors means this much uranium is required or maybe fuel is required to operate. So that's the main disadvantages also. Of course, some of the advantages is do not contribute for carbon emission. Of course, there is no CO2 emission, so does not contribute to global warming problem. Of course, it does not produce any smoke material because everything is sealed one. Its nuclear reactor is very sealed one. But defaultly, it is having a it is having a very low volume of waste. Waste also does not that much high. So also it's having some of the main disadvantages. Disposal of nuclear waste is very expensive. Maybe it's a radioactive one. Maybe it pollute the environmental. So decommissioning of nuclear power station is expensive and takes a long time. So that's also very important. Nuclear accidents, that is radiation producing particles over the wide area may cause us up to death in the human body, human sick, etc. So these are some of the disadvantages of nuclear power station, of course. So you look out that Kashiwazaki Kariwa nuclear power plant around 8,000 megawatt. It's the largest one. And Bruce, Canada, 6,000 around 6,000 megawatt. So these are some of the nuclear power station in the world, largest nuclear power station. They developed around 8,000 megawatt. So you look at that, how the reactor is framed. You look at this diagram, reactor. So in Tamil Nadu or maybe in India, we have the largest power plant is Tarapur Atomic Power Station. In Maharashtra, we have 1,500 megawatts. Installed capacity is 1,000 megawatts at the time of installation. Also in Tamil Nadu, Kudangalam, Kalpakkam. This is also around at the time of installations around 1,000 megawatts power plant. Some of the example for nuclear power station. Next, we have a content of Earth energy cycle. So of course we know that energy cycle in Earth is we have a lot. In general, energy cycle is a process whereby energy from the sun is taken up by a plant which absorb the energy in the chloroplast. Then plant collect energy from the sun and use carbon dioxide and water in the process called photosynthesis to produce a sugar. In general, we call this is the energy cycle. At the same time, evaporate water from its leaf, nothing but plant shooting. Okay, we have to take so energy cycle in Earth. In generally, it is classified into the water cycle, carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, phosphorus cycle, sulfur cycle, etc., etc. These are the energy cycle is there in the Earth. But for us, we need a small idea about that carbon cycle. Even though we have to take what do you mean by water cycle? From the second standard onwards, we are very well know that water cycle. So water cycle is a cycle of evaporations, condensation, precipitation, and collection. So you look at that very we can easy to understand that. What do you mean by evaporation? Condensation, that is nothing but water vapor in the air get cold and change back into the liquid to form cloud. This is called as a condensation. Of course, precipitation, when the cloud get big and heavy with water vapor, they fall back to earth in the form of rain or maybe snow. This is called as a condensation. Collections happens when the water from the cloud enter the bodies of water in the earth. that we call as a collection. So this is we call as a water cycles. So water collection, evaporation, precipitation, condensation. So this may happen. This we call as a water cycle, but this is not very important. Of course, carbon cycle, that is also we know very well. So carbon cycle, we have here two processes. The two processes of carbon cycles are photosynthesis and cellular respiration. From these two things, we have to get a carbon. In photosynthesis, carbon from the carbon dioxide is fixed into carbohydrates. In cellular respiration, carbohydrates are broken into in the form of ATP, and carbon in the form of carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. So by that way, carbon is forming in the earth. The carbon cycle is the biochemical cycle by which carbon is exchanged among the maybe biosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere of the earth. Along with the nitrogen cycle and water cycle, the carbon cycle comprises a sequence of events that are key to make the earth capable of sustaining life. It describes the movement of carbon as it is recycled and reused throughout the biosphere. You look at this diagram, carbon cycle is the basics of organic molecules, of course. How the carbon cycle is formed, or maybe a carbon is formed. So we utilized carbon and we utilized this. So the simple diagram very clearly explains that how carbon is formed in the earth. Both we have here. Carbon cycle is framed, or maybe carbon is formed by photosynthesis and cellular respiration. So these diagrams, so how carbon is formed, but the major carbon reservoirs. Of course, one thing we have to remember that for forming the carbon cycles, we have to classify into the long-term carbon cycle and short-term carbon cycle. Of course, short-term organic carbon cycle means the process in the system have a time scale of the days of hundreds of years. Maybe a key process is that of photosynthesis. So why that short-term organic carbon cycle, long-term organic carbon cycle means the carbon that leaves short-term organic carbon cycles enters to the long-term organic carbon cycles. The long-term carbonic cycles takes place in a time scale of thousands of years to the millions of years. So that's why, as we know very well, coal once over means, so we have to get further coal rock or maybe carbon rock means it will take around hundreds of years, thousands of years. So that's why we are shifting from conventional to the non-conventional. That is because the raw material required, that is coal, is one day to be run out. So let's we go for that global warming problem. So of course, what do you mean by global warming? You are very well know about that. The utilization of these power plant may create a CO2 emissions. So the main greenhouse gases is the CO2. So because of CO2 only the global warming may cause. Global warming is on increasing in the, what do you mean by global warming? Global warming is on increasing the average temperature of the Earth's surface over a time. This rise results from the greenhouse effect, in which gases such as carbon dioxide trap heat within the Earth's atmosphere. The climbing temperature could cause catastrophic climate change. So we know very well why the climate changes and drought, some other like um, tsunami, etc. So these are because of the global warming issues only. Everyone will know that global warming issues only. Global warming because of uses of fossil fuels like coal, oil, natural gas. So we used mostly these all things for power generation. So that's why everyone said that, or maybe all countries there initiated generating power through the renewable energy sources instead of non-renewable energy sources like coal, oil, natural gas. Because global warming is a big issue for the world. It creates a lot of problems, increasing the temperature in the earth's surface, tsunami, drought, seasonal changes, water crisis, etc. etc. There are a lot of problems there because of global warming. The main issue for global warming is CO2 emission in the atmosphere. How the CO2 occurs? The CO2 is because of usage of fossil fuels like coal, oil, natural gas for generation of the electricity. Okay, who done it? That is producing CO2 in the atmosphere. We, the energy user, of course, unwantedly wasting and generating a power through non-renewable sources. Of course, not only that, industrial revolution, developed world, consumer consumer cultures, etc., etc. So these are the issues for global warming problems. How to overcome this global warming problem? For examples, we have to in home we have to replace the incandescent light bulb in your home with compact CFL, compact fluorescent lamp. Can lower your electric bill and reduce the carbon dioxide emission. Walking to your destination instead of taking the car in another way to reduce the global warming problem, of course. Recycling and using recycled product. Installing alternative energy sources such as solar panel and buying energy efficient devices also can contribute mightily to overcome this global warming problem. So that's why we say that go for renewable energy sources. So now we got idea about that, why we go for renewable energy sources or why we go green energy sources. So I conclude that the main problem is to control the global warming issues. The global warming issues may rise because of CO2 emission. How the CO2 emissions majorly occur in the atmosphere because of usage of fossil fuels like coal, oil, petroleum products. So where we used these type of product, coal and petroleum product, means most probably we utilized for the purpose of generating the electricity. So we can shift or maybe try to generate electricity from the renewable sources. So that's why we have to shift to the renewable energy sources. What are the renewable energy sources available in nature? Solar, wind, water, geothermal, yes, ocean like a tidal wave. So these are the some of the renewable energy power plant. So recently a lot of research is going on in this field, renewable energy plant, to improve its efficiency. The main one thing we have to clear that even though we have a raw material is freely available in the market, why still it is not in famous, why still the research is going on in this field is compared to the non-renewable plant, renewable plant having a very low efficiency. That is the main drawback, and of course some of the renewable plant is seasonable one like wind, solar. So these are the depends on the seasons. So that's why still the research is going on to improve its efficiency. Lot of research is going on in this side. So, asset yearly like you, so you have to concentrate or having to get good idea, and you do your research project in this area to improve its efficiency, and you contribute for the society and try to get good opportunities in these power plant companies. So let's we go for the next topic, world energy scenario. Of course, everyone we know very well. Renewable energy plant is recently developing plant only. So long time we used other plant like gas plant or maybe a coal plant, hydro plant, nuclear plant only. So what is the world energy or total energy required for the world is around 27,000 terawatt as per the survey of 2019 IEA survey, International Energy Authority. So 27,000 terawatt. In this around most of the demand is met out by the coal power plant around 38%, gas power plant 23%, hydro and other around 20%, nuclear 10%, whereas renewable solar and wind only a 7%, only a 7%, oil power plant 3% only. So we developed to meet out the energy demand all over the world via this only. So most of the power we developed via a coal only. So defaultly we know very well. So CO2 emission is very high. So there will be a problem of global warming issues. That's why we said that go for or maybe improve the or generate the high power from the renewable energy sources. So let's see how to take another survey. The countries generating electricity, list of countries to meet out the energy demand around all over the world. We need around 20,000 terawatt. The China around produce around 7,000 terawatt, 7,500 terawatt. United States around 500. Third, India we have around 2,000 terawatt. We produce around 2,000 terawatt. So even we produced or meet out that energy demand through coal, but another important point to shift non-renewable to renewable is the raw material required for these power plants, that is non-renewable plants, because nowadays we meet out our energy demand maximum around 38% via coal only, but the coal is available in the world is for next to 100 to 200 years only. Afterwards the coal is gone, so not possible to generate a power to meet out the energy demand all over the world. Similarly, oil availability is only 40 years, next to 40 years only. Gas is available next to 60 years only. That's the main drawback. So the raw material required for these power plant is one day to be run out. So we have to shift for that. Never run out raw material power plant, that is renewable power plant. That's very important one. That's why we are shifting from non-renewable to the renewable. What is the world renewable energy status? Of course, around 27 terawatts. We developed around 25% via a renewable. In this hydro involved most. Hydro having around 16%, and next we have a wind around 7%. Solar we have a 2.2%. This is the meet out ratio. So we have to go for energy scenario in India. In India we need in megawatts need 3,70,500 megawatts, around 3,70,000 megawatts. So central sector they developed around 93,000 megawatt. State sector they developed around 103,000, that is 103,000 megawatt. Private sector developed around 173,000 megawatt. So totally India record 370,500 megawatts. So via a fuel, that is via a thermal power plant, we generated 230,600 megawatt. Hydro we developed around 45,700 megawatt. In nuclear we developed around 7,000 megawatt. Renewable energy sources as per the MNRE, Ministry of Renewable Energy, around 90,000 megawatt. So from this we can get idea. So we meet out in India, we meet out our energy demand through thermal around 60%, renewable around 20%, other hydro is another important one, so 12%. Of course hydro is also one of the renewable power plants, so we combine that two, we have around 30%, remaining 30% we meet out via a renewable power plant. Installed grid interactive renewable power capacity in 2020 is around, wind power plant is installed capacity around 38,000 megawatt, solar power plant is around 35 megawatts, biomass around 10,000, from waste around 150 megawatt, small hydro plant around 5,000. So totally we have here, we developed around 90,000 megawatt. So targeted to the 1,90,000 megawatt in 2022. This is the current Indian scenario, and installed grid interactive renewable power capacity in India. So you look at this diagram. So wind, of course, in all renewable power plant, wind we developed around 45% of powers, that is around 37 megawatt, 37,000 megawatt, 30,000 from solar, 30,000 megawatt. So these are the by chart. So this is the power supply position in the country in India during 2009 to 2021. So what is the energy developed? So requirement, availability, what is the peak demand? So what is the surplus amount? That everything is given. In 2021, so our requirement is around 86,000 megawatt, but availability is around 85,000. So we have a surplus around between that is around 1,000. So our peak demand is around 1,33,000, yes, 1,33,000 megawatt. So the surplus we require is, everything is given in this table. Of course, India is the 5th largest energy consumer. So as on date, we meet out our maximum demand through thermal energy only, so that we have to mind it. So this is the energy capacity. Once again I repeat that generation of capacity in India. So you look at this chart, how we meet out. So as said earlier, we meet out maximum through thermal energy only. Next hydro, and next we have here other renewable plants. This is the power generation capacity in India. So we need to shift to renewable energy sources. It's very important. The main causes is the raw materials one day it to be run out, and it causes a global warming problems. That's very important. So what are the environmental aspect of energy utilizations? What are the aspect we have it? We are using energy, consumption of fossil fuel. So we are consuming energy, means consumption of fossil fuel resources, leads to the global warming and the climate changes. The uses of energy resources in industries leads to environmental damage by polluting the atmosphere. For example, air pollution such as sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxide and carbon monoxide, emission from the boiler, furnace, chlorofluorocarbons, CFC emission by using a refrigeration, AC, etc. So these are another causes. In chemical and fertilizer industries, toxic gases are released, cement plant and power plant. So these are the environmental aspect of energy utilization. So may causes a air pollution, climate changes, possibility of acid rain. Of course, sulfur is releases of sulfur and nitrogen components forming a combustion of fossil fuels, which then mix with water vapor in atmosphere to form a sulfuric and nitric acid. Sulfuric and nitric acid involved for acid rain. Of course, defaultly we know very well having a lot of disadvantages, effect of acid rain, killing of wildlife. So this is for your reference. Few of international effort for climate change mitigation. So these are the committees formed: Vienna Convention, Montreal Protocol, Kyoto Protocol, UNFCCC, yes, UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. So these are the committee formed to watch out climate change mitigation. Climate change issues are climate change, biofuel use, biodiesel, firewoods, fossil fuel use. Because of CO2 emissions, the possibility of tsunami, flooding, water crisis problem, drought. So these are some of the issues. Okay, thank you. Next section we have to go for the next unit.